Sennis, and welcome to Inside Santa Barbara, the news magazine that takes you inside the city's most important issues, projects, and events. Today we are coming to you from the train depot here in Santa Barbara. This historic depot was built in 1905. Today, passengers enjoy train rides up and down the California coast. Well, many argue that taking the train is a great alternative to driving in traffic. If you commute to Santa Barbara every day and have to battle traffic on the 101, you'll want to watch our top story. In it, we'll tell you about the City of Santa Barbara's most recent efforts to reduce traffic congestion on the 101 during commute times. The city's plan involves a small but significant step towards commuter rail. For commuters, the daily grind of bumper-to-bumper traffic is part of everyday life. City employee Eric Reynolds commutes from Ventura to Santa Barbara. We joined him early one morning on his commute to work. Reynolds leaves his house in Ventura around 6:10 a.m. to avoid traffic on the 101.
The later you go, the worse traffic is. You really want to be through Carpinteria by, say, 6:45. If you leave Ventura at 7, you'll probably hit some pretty good traffic.
Some pretty good traffic, putting morning commutes from Ventura to Santa Barbara about an hour each way. That's about 2 hours behind the wheel every day and 10 hours a week. Not counting vacation and sleeping hours, a person with a 2-hour commute spends about a month in their car each year.
The biggest thing about commuting is it just takes a couple hours out of your day every day that you could be using for other things.
Right now we are on San Ysidro Road, where, as you can see, traffic going northbound on the 101 is pretty heavy. Traffic is expected to get even worse when 3 major Highway 101 improvement projects get underway. Those 3 projects are the 101 operational improvements at the Milpas and Cabrillo interchange, the reconstruction of the Linden Avenue interchange, and the widening of the 101 to 3 lanes between the county line and Muscle Shoals. The recent 101 in Motion report recognizes the need for a lane and a train, an additional freeway lane, and commuter train on the 101 corridor. According to the report, the lane and train are both needed to address congestion within the corridor. The report also says there is a need for the expansion of the Coastal Express bus service. The results of the 101 in Motion report were the basis for the Measure D Renewal, which appeared on the November 2006 ballot. Measure D funds have been used to build and maintain roads and sidewalks in all parts of the county. If it passed on the 2006 ballot, it would have renewed and increased a half-cent sales tax by 1/4 cent. But the renewal failed county-wide. It is now being reworked for the November 2008 ballot without the 1/4 cent increase. Because Measure D will now be a straight renewal instead of a tax increase, the idea of a lane and a train is a challenge. So with limited funding and 3 major Highway 101 projects on the horizon, where do we go from here? The answer may be an initial step toward commuter rail. Since the 101 in Motion report, the City of Santa Barbara's Council Rail Subcommittee has been working towards implementing commuter rail between Santa Barbara and Ventura County. The result is On Track, a plan of transit rail action for commuters. It's what proponents call a small step in the right direction.
Right now, the Pacific Surfliner Amtrak trains aren't timed correctly for commuters, so it wouldn't be appropriate for someone from Ventura or Oxnard or Camarillo to get on the train to come up here. It doesn't work for them in the schedule. So what we're proposing is to change the Amtrak service to be in line with the times that commuters desire in the morning, 1 train coming up, and then we'll have 3 options coming back.
What this is, as I understand it, is a small incremental step that continues the momentum and takes advantage of the low-hanging fruit by looking at the existing rail system in place and tries to piggyback on that to start some rail opportunities for our corridor.
According to the 2007 Tri-County Commuter Profile Survey, approximately 14,000 commuters travel from Ventura to the South Coast every weekday. Approximately 70 to 80% of commuters are driving alone. That number is down since the last survey in 2003, meaning since then more people are using alternative modes of transportation. Given these numbers, the On-Track plan puts the South Coast on the right track to environmental sustainability.
Here on the California coast, we've got to be concerned about global warming. The ocean is right at our doorstep. And so when we look at the future of California cities, we've got to move away from our dependence on the automobile. And although I have tremendous empathy for the folks who are making that commute between Ventura and Santa Barbara for jobs, it's important that we recognize that that commute is not sustainable over the long run. So we've got to move to transit options, and the sooner we do it, the better.
Reynolds takes the Vista Bus a few times a week. When he doesn't take the Vista Bus, he drives his car to work.
The rail service, as in its current state, is just not it's not convenient and flexible.
Well, already our bus connection between the two communities is a success. What I hear from commuters is they'd like to see a lot more options, and particularly one that would have the convenience of having a rail connection.
Proponents say that bus services will also play a key role in On-Track, helping commuters get from the train station to their jobs.
In order for a commuter train to really work, you're going to have the ability for people to get off the train and get quickly to their job sites.
On-Track supporters say that the success of the plan depends on the consensus between Santa Barbara and Ventura counties. In September, the Ventura County Transportation Commission recently gave On-Track a thumbs up. The VCTC develops transportation policies, funding, and priorities for many projects and is responsible for issues like highways, bus services, and commuter and freight railroads in Ventura County.
Our transportation issues are regional, and to the extent that the County of Santa Barbara, SBCAG, the City of Santa Barbara, and VCTC and Ventura County can be on the same page, it helps us down the road with, in our case, Measure D, and convincing voters that we are coordinating effectively to realize a project that is doable and feasible for our area.
But as with all projects, the On-Track plan has its critics.
Well, there are definitely people who think that we should spend a pile of money widening the 101. The reality is, given the realities of global warming, the realities of our increasing dependence upon unstable countries for our oil, and given the rising cost of that oil, commuter rail in the long run is the only sustainable way for us to continue to have a healthy interaction between these two communities and their intertwined economies.
The state of the rail between Santa Barbara and Ventura is described as old. There has been little improvement to it since the 1920s. Along the corridor, there are only a few sidings. Often those sidings are too short for freight trains, requiring passenger trains to yield and be delayed. Some siding track switches are manually operated, which also contributes to the delay of passenger trains. The corridor is owned and operated by Union Pacific. Union Pacific has expressed less favorable support for the expansion of passenger rail service since its goal is to support freight operations. But supporters of On-Track say the plan includes efforts to increase the efficiency of freight rail along with commuter rail. Union Pacific has agreed to participate in the ongoing conversation about increased passenger and commuter rail service between Ventura and Santa Barbara counties.
And I certainly understand Union Pacific's hesitation, but I also see that if you show them constructive steps and coordination and support from our area, it will demonstrate to them the importance that this is to our area, and also get them to be more positive towards working with us. I'm optimistic that as long as we continue to engage them and show them that our constituents in this area are interested and want commuter rail, that they will come along in the long run and partner with us in a way that sure meets their needs, but in a way that hopefully will be a win-win for everyone, including them.
Many believe that the On-Track plan can pave the way to the future of commuter rail. But longer-term commuter rail will take time and money.
Because the commuter rail idea is so popular with so many people, I think there is a bit of an expectation that people will want to see us making some incremental progress towards implementing commuter rail service. And there probably will be some funding in the Measure D Renewal plan that's going to be placed before the voters in November of 2008 that will help us to make that incremental progress. Doing a full-scale commuter rail service is not cheap, but by approving Measure D, the voters will provide some of the funding that's needed to implement this on-track proposal, which could prove whether or not commuter rail is actually feasible and allow us to determine whether or not we need to make those longer-term investments in a full-scale commuter rail system.
Other sources of possible funding is Proposition 1B on the state level and the Small Starts and Very Small Starts programs on the federal level. So with several funding options and a strong start to the consensus between Ventura and Santa Barbara counties, on-track supporters are optimistic.
Where there's a will, there's a way. And we are starting on, I think, a sensible approach. We're going to have to work with the railroad. We're going to have to work with all the stakeholders if we're going to make regular, safe, affordable commuter rail available between these two communities. And it makes sense because these two communities were built on rail. And it's time we go back to the future and connect up two communities that have a lot in common and make them really twin sister cities on the coast.
For some commuters, battling traffic is just a minor inconvenience. For others, it's a stressful experience. However you look at it, sitting behind the wheel takes hours away from your day, affecting quality of life.
Providing a commuter train gives people another alternative. People can work, they can read, they can sleep. That's been proven all over the state, in fact all over the country, where commuter rail options have really come into popularity, where people will ride these trains just to avoid the traffic congestion and all of the stress that goes along with that.
Ultimately, this is about leadership, and it's never going to be easy to try something new. But unless people are willing to step forward, and I'm not just talking about city managers or council members or regional representatives, I'm talking about citizens in these two communities standing up and demanding that we take action to put us on the right track toward the future.
The right track for commuters like Eric Reynolds, whose quality of life may change for the better, given the option of commuter rail. While we were editing this story, our Ventura to Santa Barbara commuter Eric Reynolds accepted a job with the Ventura Unified School District. Although commuting was not the main reason he accepted a job near his home in Ventura, Reynolds has cut his daily commute time from 2 hours to 20 minutes. Well, we're here at the historic Santa Barbara Train Depot on State Street. The train is only one of many alternative modes of transportation. In Santa Barbara, biking is a great way to get around town. Now, in certain areas of the city, a new traffic symbol is making that experience more pleasant for bikers and motorists.
Doored, crowded, cut off, squeezed. There are many words to describe unpleasant biking experiences along busy city streets. But now, there is a new word cyclists can add to their vocabulary that has a more positive connotation: the sharrow. Short for shared lane pavement marking, a sharrow is a painted symbol along city streets that signifies the fact that bikes and cars need to share the lane. You may have already noticed the new markings, which were painted during the slurry seal process along 6 blocks of Milpas Street in late August. The principle behind sharrows is simple. They reinforce existing rules of the road.
According to the California Vehicle Code, bicyclists have the same rights and responsibilities as drivers, and therefore where there are no bike lanes or bike paths, a bicyclist needs to use the shared lane when they need to get to their destination. Shared lane marking serves the purpose of providing a visual cue for the bicyclists of where they should be riding when they're sharing the lane with motor vehicle traffic.
When cyclists travel on streets without bike lanes, they often ride too close to parked cars, weaving in and out, which causes a danger to both bike riders and motorists. If a parked car's door is open while a bicycle is passing by, it could cause a crash and possibly serious injury. Also, when bicyclists ride far to the right, close to parked cars, passing drivers often think they have enough room to pass the bikers in the same lane, driving extremely close to the bicyclists, leaving little room for error. Another common occurrence along busy streets with no bike lanes is bicyclists riding on sidewalks instead of in the lane where they belong.
The challenge that riding on the sidewalk provides is, first of all, people who are walking on narrower sidewalks in particular are not expecting to run into bicyclists. They move at a higher rate of speed. They come up unexpectedly. If they do bump into pedestrians, it's more of a risk for a real injury. And finally, with commercial destinations like this on Milpas Street, there are people walking in and out of doorways all the time, and they're just not looking for fast-moving things on the sidewalks.
The Sharrow symbol has been nationally approved and is now included in the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices. When looking for the first place to use Sharrows in Santa Barbara, the Transportation Department looked for specific criteria.
The Sharrow should be placed on streets where there are high traffic volumes and high vehicle speeds and high bicycle volumes. And Milpas shared all those things in common. So when we looked to restripe after the slurry, we thought this would be the perfect application for our first Sharrow marking in Santa Barbara.
Even with the benefits of the Sharrows, some bicyclists fear that they may lessen the chances of bike lanes being put in.
We'll be continuing to look for opportunities to place bike lanes on the street, which actually are the bicycle pavement marking with the two striped lines on either side of that marking. We think that bicyclists prefer that marking because they're more encouraged by a specific facility that's for their exclusive use. But there are lots of streets in Santa Barbara where the traffic volumes are high, the demand for on-street parking is high, the bicycle traffic volumes are high, and there's just not enough room to fit in the 5 to 6 feet that's required for an exclusive dedicated bike lane.
And recent studies have shown Sharrows are effective. This study done in San Francisco found Sharrows create a wider gap between bicyclists and parked cars, increase the distance moving vehicles drive from bikers, and encourage bicyclists to ride on the street, not sidewalks, in the correct direction. The study also showed that the Sharrow increased how safe cyclists felt while riding on streets with moving traffic by 60%.
When you bike between the Sharrow symbols in a straight line, you create a safe path for both you and motorists.
And some people may still be concerned about this pavement marking because they're not comfortable with bicyclists sharing the lane with motorists. Again, that is the law, and it is a safe and legal place for the bicycle to be under most circumstances. We received some calls about people who were concerned that we were reducing the amount of on-street parking, and actually we were looking to this solution to avoid just that problem. We were able to keep all the vehicle lanes in place as they existed previous to the slurry, and we were able to maintain the on-street parking for motorists.
Wow, I really do feel safer.
For more details on the Sharrow and other bike safety tips, check out our website, citytv18.com. Well, often people say there's never anything for teens to do, but thanks to the collaboration between local organizations, teens are busy, laying down the foundation to a successful future.
Teens face many challenges, among them trying to fit in, to be part of the group, and to not stand out in the crowd. But because each teen has unique circumstances, no one program can meet the needs of everyone. In Santa Barbara, there is an array of organizations working to fill the much-needed role of giving youth creative outlets, guidance for their futures, and provide opportunities for success. Although always an important community focus, the city's attention on youth programs and issues has been heightened in recent months. The many existing youth programs, combined with exciting new organizations and collaborations, offer teens many opportunities. These programs expose Santa Barbara's youth to jobs and training, creative encouragement, and services to help with social and educational needs. A partnership of community agencies received over $800,000 from the County Workforce Investment Board to provide training and employment opportunities for local teens.
We're working with youth 14 to 21-year-old. So the older youth, there are some that may not want to go to college and may want to work and try and develop a career path in that way.
The program goes beyond matching youth with employment. It also offers tutoring, guidance counseling, and vocational training. They will be partnering with other local agencies like the city, the Santa Barbara Chamber of Commerce, and the school district in order to make the most of the funds. Their goal is to address the needs of each participant and ultimately help them realize their full potential.
It gives them some hope that someone is there that cares about them and about their future.
Although the grant will provide new employment opportunities for Santa Barbara's teens, another program has been working to give job training and guidance to at-risk youth for over 15 years. The city's Youth Apprenticeship program matches local teens with work within city departments, offering many of them their first paycheck.
The first and foremost need that they have expressed has been for jobs. That's over and above everything else. So that's why we've developed the Youth Apprenticeship program, because basically what we do is we bring them into an environment that will be similar to what they will be involved in when they're adults. We provide them with training, we provide them with the mentoring, with the on-site supervision from professionals, and it gives them a feel for the responsibility that's going to be inherent. We've been very successful in that we've been able to take them from our program and to introduce them to the community at large.
It initially began within the Parks and Recreation Department, having great success working in after-school programs, but has also branched out into other areas, such as the Creeks Division.
We're trying to expand our program and reach out to other different departments within the city so we can actually spread out our program and see exactly who else can benefit within the city with the youth that we have.
And since the program is led by 2 youth coordinators, they are able to relate to the teen apprentices and tailor the workshops to the youth's needs.
We have a workshop every Friday, and each Friday is a different subject. I kind of thought of what I would kind of want to know more information about, and that's basically how we went about it.
My family, my siblings were actually getting active. Now that I am a youth apprentice program coordinator, I can have better insight on how the youth think, how they feel, and definitely how they perform on the work site.
For participants, it is examples like this that encourage them to reevaluate their priorities and look toward their future.
In the summer, I was in a creeks division for the city of Santa Barbara, and we maintained creeks, and I learned a lot, and it was a good experience working for the city and making it better.
One of our first statements to young people is that they're coming into a program where we don't believe in failure. They will not fail.
With the partnership between the city and the Youth Jobs Grant Organization, Santa Barbara's youth will be better served. Another collaboration is also working to make sure that local teens are served as effectively as possible. Recently, multiple youth service providers have joined forces.
Coalitions are not new, and why we're motivated to collaborate is nothing new, but in particular it's really a great mechanism to be able to do the most for your program. If you have others helping you and you're working together, not only do you impact more teams and have more participants in your program, but you're able to not necessarily not duplicate efforts, but to enhance the efforts that you're putting together to provide programs for teenagers.
Each of the 21 programs involved have different missions, but the overarching purpose of creating a safe and healthy community for the youth brings them together.
It's important to have the different organizations collaborate because of the fact that there are so many wonderful organizations in town, and together we're much stronger and able to support the youth in Santa Barbara much better.
My ultimate goal would be one where we're working together in such an effective way, and not just the adults who are involved in team service provision, but also youth themselves who are involved in activities in their community to improve the community and leadership roles, that it really feels like a different place for youth. There's a lot of good programs here now, but I think that working together in a coordinated way, there's more opportunities to create a space where it really feels like youth voices, diverse youth voices are welcomed and needed and listened to in moving forward with these programs.
In next month's show, we will continue our focus on youth and explore other ways local teens are making our city a more positive and peaceful community. Channel 18's Dominique Blocker will look at how programs such as City at Peace and youth leadership collaborations are making a difference in Santa Barbara. Well, whether you're a teen or a senior, there's one place you can go to enjoy fun and fitness. In our next story, we go inside one city facility that offers a wide range of classes like dance, songwriting, and acting for all ages. City TV's Van Tu joins in on all the fun.
Hundreds of Santa Barbara residents walked out of these doors with more than they walked in with. They didn't just come out with some fancy footwork, but a rewarding new experience and for many, a new passion. Curious minds got a chance to try free classes during a week-long open house at the Korea Recreation Center.
Ideally, we'd love for people to sign up for future classes because that helps sustain our programs in the future. But the other goal is just to give people an opportunity to try something that they may have always wanted to try but never wanted to put down some money for. If they wanted to try the salsa or tango or the two-step, just to give people an opportunity to get out there and get their feet wet with something new.
The event has grown each year. This year's 4th annual open house seems to be the talk of the town, attracting over 600 people, almost twice as many as last year.
Is to see people come in for the first time who have always been kind of on the fence of taking a class. They come in and they have a blast and they really kind of get over a hurdle, and it might be something that maybe we won't see them in the classes in the future, but it helped them break out of their shell a little bit, and that's really fun to see.
The Recreation Center offers dance and art classes for both youth and adults. Classes offered to children include ballet, flamenco, art from the heart, and acting.
Lots of dance classes, lots of fitness classes. That's what open house is basically about. So we have flamenco dance for youth and adults. We have Pilates, we have yoga, we have a new hip-hop instructor. We have a lot of ballet, swing dance, ballroom dance is huge. So really, if it's in the dance world, we probably have that type of dance here at the Korea Recreation Center.
The most important thing and the hardest thing for women, you know what that is? Waiting.
Argentine tango expert Brian Griffin has been teaching dance since the early 90s. Like many of the professional dance instructors at the Korea Recreation Center, he comes with plenty of experience.
We've put on shows, we've performed for other events, we've done charity benefits, and a lot of it has to do with our connection with the city, and people know us because of that. And when you sign up for a series of classes, you get several classes that cover the material in a progressive way, and then often there are different levels where you can move ahead to a more advanced level as you become better.
At the Korea Rec Center Open House, it's a great chance to try something new. But for me, it was a way for me to get reacquainted with my favorite dance, hip-hop.
It's just the energy and the new people trying something new, something that they maybe hadn't considered doing before, and sometimes they fall in love with it and they come back.
Well, there are a lot of healthy activities that we have here. Dance is a great way of staying fit, and unlike a lot of other fitness programs, I know you could go to the gym and you kind of get burnt out and you don't go back. It's all social here, so you're meeting new people and you're interacting with people while staying active at the same time. So it's a very healthy activity, and it's a great asset to our community.
For a schedule of classes at the Korea Recreation Center, call 897-2519. Well, that does it for this month's episode of Inside Santa Barbara. We hope you've enjoyed the show from the Santa Barbara Historic Train Depot. Next month, we'll take you somewhere new and share with you the latest stories about what's going on inside Santa Barbara. If you have any questions or comments about our show, visit our website, citytv18.com, or give us a call at CityTV at 564-5311. I'm your host, Rachel Senes, and remember to get involved inside Santa Barbara.